day, and it was a doctor, and I told him he could come in, and he says, you know, Marvelyn, you're aware that you have pneumonia? And I said, yes, I'm aware. He says, I'm sorry, but I have something more serious to tell you. And so at the time I was 19, and I just held my heart like this, and I said, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And he said, no, you're not pregnant, you're HIV positive. And when he said that, I just looked at him. I had heard about HIV, but I never cared about HIV until that moment right then when he told me that I was HIV positive. But since I was at the emergency room, I wasn't at the health department or AIDS service organization where they test people on a day-to-day basis for HIV, he couldn't give me the information that I needed. I had questions, and he couldn't answer them, even as a doctor. So he told me that he needed to go give me more information, and he would go get it and bring it back to me. And I said, okay, but I could tell HIV was something more serious than I had ever taken it for. So I got very, very nervous, and I began picking up the phone, immediately calling people. The first person I called was my best friend, and she was at work, and she told me she needed to call me back. The second person I called, she was 8 months pregnant with my godchild. And I told her, I said, girl, the doctor just told me I'm HIV positive. She said, well, I don't want you to have anything to do with me or my child now that you're HIV positive. And when she said that, that was the first time I had truly, felt stigma. I didn't understand it. I was only calling people, for somebody to say, oh, it will be okay, because I was confused. So I called my sister, who's a hairdresser in Nashville, Tennessee, where I'm from, and I told her the same thing. I said, I'm HIV positive. And she said, you didn't even have to tell me. I actually already known, because the two people I had called, I guess they began texting people, and then people started calling people, and my word had spread to the point where it had gotten back to my sister, and I had only been HIV positive for 10 minutes. My sister told me she felt it was best for me to call my mom because my mom hadn't heard yet, and she felt it would be best coming out of my mouth. So I called my mom, and I told her, and she was very serious. She said, Marvelyn, don't you tell anyone anything. If they want to know what's wrong with you, you better tell them that you had cancer. And when my mama told me that, I felt very ashamed. I felt I disappointed my mom. I know now she was trying to protect me from stigma, but I really, really didn't know what it was, but I was certainly about to find out. I was a college student who was in between semesters of college, and I was told I needed to go back to school.